Hello everybody, my name is Zach, aka The Weather Gamer, and I'm bringing you some of that different content that I had promised. My brother took me to see Ghostbusters Afterlife for my birthday, which was on the 26th of November. So when I was younger, I saw the original Ghostbusters at a friend's birthday party. I'd never seen Ghostbusters before, my parents being helicopter parents like they were, probably would not have let me watch it had it not been at a friend's house, because that's just how they are. It scared me. When I first watched it, it scared me, and then my parents and I watched it together, and then we watched the second one, and I loved Ghostbusters, a 1980s film, and I'm watching it in the 2000s and enjoying the hell out of it. So yeah, I am a fan of Ghostbusters. And then the 2016, I played the video game that came out on the Nintendo DS. And then the 2016 reboot came out, and that movie was hot garbage, and I will fully stand by that. It sucked, it wasn't funny, it felt forced, it was just bad, and I'm not here to review that, I'm here to just give a backstory on Ghostbusters. So I was really disappointed by that. And then, 2 years ago we get the trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and that was freaking amazing. It brought back a lot of nostalgia. It made me, I really wanted to see Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then the pandemic hit and it delayed things, and it is what it is. But anyways, finally it came out. Came out on the 20th of November, I believe. My brother and I went and saw it, and I would say it is a very, very good sequel to Ghostbusters 2. Now, there's questions as to whether Ghostbusters 2 is canon or not. By the way, there's going to be spoilers, so just, if you don't want to get spoiled for this film, click off, but there are going to be spoilers, so I'm going to talk about stuff that's not revealed in the trailers and all that. I think this was a very good sequel to the original Ghostbusters, and to an extent Ghostbusters 2. There's questions as to whether or not Ghostbusters 2 is canon because of this movie, and I don't know why. I haven't looked into that, but anyways, so the movie itself. It's definitely a nostalgia trip. If you have seen the original Ghostbusters, you'll watch this and you'll see a lot of parallels to it. You'll get a lot of that nostalgia. It'll bring up a lot of feelings from the old Ghostbusters. It does... I will say this. It does pull kind of a Star Wars Episode 7, I'd say, where it retreads a lot of the original Ghostbusters film. You get a lot of parallels. The music score, the way they use the music, they used a lot of the music from the original one, and they used it in similar situations to make things really, really draw on that nostalgia and parallel. Even to the movie's villain, spoiler warning, Gozer is back, and you get kind of the same thing, where people get possessed, Gozer gets freed, and then it's up to the Ghostbusters to stop Gozer from destroying the universe. Now, that's just TLDR. The shorthand version of it. But the movie itself is really, really nice. You get kind of Paul Rudd playing kind of the Louis Tully role. Instead, he's a teacher instead of an accountant, but he fills that kind of Louis Tully role type of thing, and that's all I'm going to say on that. That should give you an idea of how he kind of plays into the story. The premise is that Egon feels that the apocalypse is going to come again, and that Gozer is going to return, and it leads to a fight with the original Ghostbusters. Egon moves away, takes all the equipment and is trying to prevent the apocalypse on his own. Builds this huge, elaborate trap, and this I will talk about again more here in a minute. Builds this huge, elaborate trap to try and trap Gozer. Captures one of the Gozer's dogs that needs to be possessing a human in order for Gozer to be summoned. Captures it, uses it as bait, and then tries to capture Gozer and end the apocalypse. Unfortunately, Egon's trap doesn't work, and Egon dies because of it. In the movie, it says heart attack, but in reality, it is Gozer killed him. Spoilers. And I think that's a beautiful way for them to deal with the death of Harold Ramses, who passed away in 2014. I think that was a great... He has no speaking lines in the entire movie, except for when they use archive footage from the old movies from the 80s. That's the only time you hear him speak. They do a lot of CGI to put his face on somebody else's body to make him seem like he appears. Early in the movie, he's in shadow the entire time, so you have to assume that it's Egon. And then for most of the movie, he acts as a spirit, invisible spirit, kind of guiding his granddaughter, who's the one holding the pack in her hand. And kind of, that's kind of how they deal with him through the movie, because unfortunately, he passed away in 2014. But I thought it was a really nice way to handle his unfortunate passing outside of the universe. It was very respectful, and I appreciated it, I guess. I really liked that part of the movie. I will say there are some dumb parts to this movie. It is very, very slow. Incredibly slow. At times, where you just think, why is this scene even here? I don't know. The character with the goggles feels a little forced as well. It feels like they're forcing him to be the next Ray. And when you watch the movie, you'll understand what I mean by that. It just doesn't sit quite well with me. That's another critique. But otherwise, the action, when the action occurs, the action is great. The character growth is great, at least for his granddaughter. His grandson, which is the one with the proton pack on his back, not a lot really happens for him in this movie. It's really, really a movie about his granddaughter more so than anything else. Seeing Ecto-1 back up and running was fantastic. This has been revealed in the trailers. Ecto-1 has a gunner seat, which is fucking amazing. It's so cool to see that little tidbit added to the Ecto-1 that we didn't see before. It almost makes me wish that there was like a movie in between this and the second Ghostbusters, kind of explaining Egon leaving and the upgrades to the Ecto-1 that we see here, with the gunner seat and all that. It was really, really cool. And the action's really nice. When this movie has its action sequences, they're good action sequences. They're high budget. They make you feel like you're in it. They're the sound is really nice of it, and it makes up for the slow parts in the movie. There are some forced jokes. There are some nostalgia callback jokes that I don't think quite work because they feel forced. But all in all, I do think it's a very, very good, solid movie. I'm not going to spoil the ending because the ending is very emotional and I want people to experience the ending on their own. There is some really, really good stuff on the ending of this movie. It does have 2 post-credit scenes, so if you're seeing it in theaters, there are 2 post-credit scenes that you should sit through. At least the first one. Definitely sit to. The second one is more of setting up. It's more of a Marvel, Samuel L. Jackson type of thing, setting up future movies and so on and so forth, which I do think there are going to be more Ghostbusters after this movie. They've put way too many breadcrumbs, way too many loose ends to not do another one. And, you know, they've kind of passed the torch to the next generation. And I think that'll happen. I think we're going to get at least one more Ghostbusters movie, a sequel to Afterlife, but then from there, I don't know. We'd have to see how that movie performs, because, like I said, overall, I would say this is probably a 7 out of 10 for me. It's not a perfect movie by any way, shape, or form, but it is a solid movie, solid nostalgic trip. Definitely worth streaming it. I don't know if it's worth going to see in the theater unless you are really a diehard Ghostbusters fan. So, but I kind of wanted to do some movie reviews. I don't go see a lot of movies, but I did want to review Ghostbusters and that because I really enjoyed it, even though my brother decided he wanted to criticize it for various different reasons, but it was a good movie. So if you have seen it, let me know what you think down in the comments. Don't spoil the ending for people. That's why I'm not spoiling it either. I gave a few spoilers, but not enough to, you know, ruin the emotional climax of the end. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed if you see it, and I'll see you guys next time.